Everyone's talking about Britney Spears right now, and what just came out feels a lot bigger than a normal celebrity headline. This story already involved a confirmed DUI arrest in Ventura County on March 4th, 2026, but what pushed it into a much darker place was the mix of a hospital visit, pending chemical test results, and the reaction from people around her, which sounded worried in a very real way. Once all of that hit at once, the story stopped feeling like one bad night and started sounding like something deeper. Reuters reported that Britney Spears was arrested Wednesday night, March 4th, in Ventura County, California, on suspicion of driving under the influence, and the California Highway Patrol confirmed it. People later reported that she was released through a cite and release process and is due in court on May 4th, which meant this was already a real legal story before the more emotional details even surfaced. By the time those extra reports started circulating, the headline had already taken on a much heavier tone. Before we go any deeper, tell me what you think really happened here, because this story has already split people right down the middle. If you're enjoying the video so far and want more updates like this, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. The tone changed fast once the details around the traffic stop came out, because this did not sound minor at all. People said a CHP release described a black BMW driving erratically at a high rate of speed, and Britney reportedly showed signs of impairment before going through field sobriety tests. While the Los Angeles Times added dispatch audio describing erratic braking, swerving, and driving without taillights near Westlake Village. That was the point where the story stopped sounding like gossip and started sounding like something people took very seriously. A hospital visit made it feel even more serious, and that detail changed the public reaction almost immediately. The Los Angeles Times reported that Britney, who was not injured, was taken to a hospital emergency room right after the stop, so blood could be drawn for a blood alcohol test, and people added that the chemical test results were still pending when the news broke. That left everyone with a confirmed arrest, but not the full answer. The story drew even more attention when the TMZ version started spreading, because that is where the most dramatic claims appeared. TMZ reported that Britney allegedly told people her blood alcohol content was 0.06, which would be under California's 0.08 legal limit, but Reuters, People, and the Los Angeles Times had not independently confirmed that number, which is why more careful outlets did not treat it as settled fact. Even if that figure turns out to be accurate, officers can still make an arrest based on what they observed and what other test results may show. That is why this case hit people so differently from the usual celebrity mess, because the details sounded dangerous long before anyone got to the legal outcome. A late-night stop, reports of erratic driving, a hospital blood draw, and pending chemical results created a picture that felt serious right away. And what changed the mood online was how quickly concern seemed to replace the usual mockery. By the time the first wave of coverage settled, the story already felt heavier than most Britney headlines. Britney's history is a huge part of why this landed the way it did, because people are not reacting to this in a vacuum. Her conservatorship ended in November of 2021, and many fans saw that moment as the start of a freer, happier chapter after years of control, while Reuters noted that she regained control of her personal life and money when that 13-year arrangement came to an end. Since then, almost every public moment has reopened the same debate, and with freedom on one side and concern on the other. In the years after 2021, that tension never really disappeared, and this arrest dropped right into the middle of it. People noted that Britney's recent public life has already drawn intense attention, and the outlet also reported that she appeared to deactivate her Instagram around the same time, which only added more discussion as the story spread. For longtime fans, this did not feel like a random bad headline. It felt like another chapter in something they have been worrying about for a very long time. The response from Britney's side added another layer, because it did not sound like the usual polished celebrity statement. People in the Los Angeles Times both reported that her representative called the incident completely inexcusable and said Britney would take the right steps and comply with the law, which made it clear nobody close to her was trying to brush this off as nothing. That wording made a lot of people stop and pay much closer attention. The part that really shifted the conversation came in the second half of that same statement, because it hinted at something much deeper than legal trouble. Her representative said this could hopefully be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life, and added that loved ones would come up with an overdue plan to set her up for success and well-being, which sounded more like concern and urgency than simple damage control. Once that language reached the public, the focus moved beyond the arrest itself. The TMZ transcript you shared fits into that same wider picture, even though some of those details still need to be treated as reported claims rather than proven facts. TMZ pushed the idea that people around Britney think this could be the best thing that has happened to her in a long time because it may force a wake-up call. And while that framing is more dramatic, the representative's direct statement points in a very similar direction. What came through in both versions was the same basic message: the people around her do not seem to view this as just a traffic case. Another TMZ detail that got a lot of attention was the claim that Britney was emotional, crying, and cooperative during the booking process. And that mattered because it made the night sound even more painful. People separately reported through a source that she was very emotional and regretful the next morning. So while the exact booking room details still come from TMZ-style sourcing, the broader picture of an emotional aftermath overlaps across reports. That overlap gave the whole story a sad tone instead of a flashy one. TMZ also claimed Britney had been out driving alone with no real destination, which is the kind of detail people repeat because it feels symbolic. That specific point should still be treated as alleged, but here's the thing: even without it, the confirmed facts are already serious enough because a solo late-night traffic stop ended with an arrest, blood testing, an impounded vehicle, booking, release, and a court date on May 4th. The story did not need exaggeration to feel bleak. Public reaction split almost immediately, and that says a lot about why this story has stayed so hot. Some people look at a DUI arrest and see reckless behavior that could have ended terribly, while others look at Britney and connect this night to larger questions about isolation, support, and whether anyone close to her has really been able to keep things steady. Both reactions have been loud, and that tension has kept the story emotionally charged. Those two reactions can exist at the same time, which is what makes this such an uncomfortable story to talk about. A person can believe the situation is serious and unacceptable, and still feel that punishment on its own will not fix whatever may be going wrong in Britney's life, especially after a representative openly spoke about support, loved ones, and an overdue plan. That was the point where the story stopped sounding like blame alone and started sounding like a call for intervention. Another detail from the Los Angeles Times added even more questions because it suggested there may be more to sort out before the full picture becomes clear. The paper reported that a substance found in the car was being tested and that the vehicle was searched again Thursday morning, while people reported that the arrest was on suspicion of driving under the influence of a combination of drugs and alcohol, and that chemical test results were still pending. In that light, the case looked less like one simple headline and more like an unfolding legal situation. Right now, the next major date is already set, and that gives this story a clear path forward. Britney returned home after being released, and May 4th is the court date people will be watching, but between now and then, the biggest questions are whether any official test results become public, whether Britney speaks for herself, and whether those around her actually follow through on the talk of support and a plan for her well-being. That is where this story could change again. What makes this feel different from the usual Britney cycle is how many hard facts are sitting underneath all the emotion. A confirmed arrest, a hospital blood draw, pending chemical tests, and a representative using words like completely inexcusable created a much heavier picture than one viral post or one strange clip ever could. And once people realized that, the story stopped feeling like passing chaos. It started feeling like a moment that could carry real consequences. The headline is already bad, and nobody can soften that, but the bigger issue is what this turns into from here. This could become one more painful chapter in Britney Spears' public life, or it could become the moment that finally forces real change, support, and a different path after years of concern building in the background. Tell me what you think happens next for Britney Spears, then subscribe and hit like if you want more breaking celebrity updates like this.